What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the 22nd episode of our podcast, Don't Stop Beleafing, where we talk all about the Leafs all the time to anyone who will listen. I'm your host, Nolan Drinkwalter, and this is your co-host, king of getting hurt, king of actually seeing the house for the first time, Jack Prinz. Jack, how's it going, buddy?
Not as hurt as I was.
Yes, but you weren't injured last podcast, so this is a new injury and healing all in one that we get to see. And
apparently, the acupuncturist guy also said I'm a fast healer, so I got that going for me now.
Oh, he's just talking you up too, eh?
Oh yeah,
that's quite the weird flex.
Oh, that's pretty cool though.
So next time you're in a bar talking to girls, you'd be like, "Yeah, I heal pretty quick."
Yeah, it's good. It's a good thing because then. If you have babies, the babies will be quick healers, and that's what girls want.
They want quick healing babies.
Yeah.
That's their number one thing on the list of what they want from a guy.
Well, maybe not up there, but when they think about it, it's actually a good trait.
True. So you can put on that on your Tinder profile?
No, I don't have any online dating.
Okay, whatever. I guess stay single. No, I'm just
I'll
kidding.
just use it as pickup line in real life.
Maybe when we go to the Marlies game, you can, I can wingman you and you can use that line.
Yeah, no, probably not.
Don't want to pick anybody up from the crowd?
No, I don't know. We'll see. Never say never. Beeb said that.
Yeah, it'll be the luck of the Irish. It's the St. Paddy's Day game.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows what could happen?
Who knows what could happen?
Green beers will be flowing.
It'll be a good time.
Will be shot.
It'll be a good time. Now, Nolan's getting moved into his house. Still moving. But
you understand how long moving takes. It's a 10-year process. But no, actually, this weekend I was painting the master closet or the walk-in closet.
Yeah.
So that took a lot of time. Got her painted, just got to put her back together, and she'll look good.
Nice. Well, beautiful house, I must say. I'll give out the address to people who ask for it.
Yes, please dox me.
Yeah. Just go to Nolan's house. It's an open door policy. Just help yourself.
And if you like this, we'll give you the address.
Yeah. Just start. You just go in, go to his kitchen, open the fridge. Anything in there is yours.
I just made some meatballs.
Yeah, beautiful house. Really impressed with it. So excited because I live vicariously through my friends. So I just gained a nice house.
Yeah, actually, we have a room for it. We made sure to have a room in the basement for Jack.
Yeah.
And that's where he's going to sleep when he comes over. And actually stay. He won't be able to loud upstairs.
Yeah. Soon I'm going to start moving things in there, making it my own.
Do you have like a key made?
Just cut my own hole in the wall with a door. Just like, this is my door. Only I have a key for it.
Yeah. Hopefully not.
Be careful what you wish for.
So I guess a roller coaster of a week for you, eh?
Yeah, went from getting sick on Monday night to getting injured on Wednesday, almost breaking my ankle and knee, and was hobbling around like an old man with a cane for a while. Showed up to Nolan's house with a cane just for dramatic effect. And
yeah,
and
I thought you just found the cane on the side of the street. Like, it was a joke. I mean, what are you doing?
But knee is recovering, and so is the ankle, and hopefully road to recovery starts next week.
Just like the road to WrestleMania.
Yeah. All right. So, Speaking of roller coasters, the Leafs were on a high, and now they are on a low.
Whoa, nice job, dude. So, actually, this week they went 0-2-1, and we'll get to the games because bad week for the Leafs. But let's start with the big story of the week, which is the trade deadline, where famously, Brad Treliving is not known for doing big deals on the trade deadlines. He's usually an off-season kind of guy where that's where he makes his deals and builds his team and makes his teams there. So, to me, it was actually a bit of a surprise that he went out and did this much.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, there's more to talk about that he was trying to do in the background, that the deals that got nixed. So, but we'll start with the deals that didn't get nixed that actually happened. And
by Trad Breliving.
Yes, my boy. He's my boy.
My boy Trad Breliving.
Were you thinking about that for a while? Because it looked like the smoke was going to the ears over
As
there.
soon as you said trash, I was like, let's switch that. And I was like, give me an open, Nolan. Give me an open.
So the first deal I want to talk about was the first one that happened in that day was the Scott Lawton trade.
Yeah.
So we had Scott Lawton for Grabanksky. Am I saying that right? Grabankin. Yeah. What is wrong with me? For Grabankin and a conditional 2027 first round draft pick. That's top 10 protected. That's a condition. So what do you think of that trade?
Yeah, so it took a while for a trade to be made that day. A lot of people were sitting around getting antsy, fiddling their thumbs, doing that.
Wasn't it like 3 in the afternoon? No, sorry, 3's the end of it. Wasn't it like 2 in the afternoon?
It was getting closer to 2.
Yeah.
And again, nothing had been done. And it seemed like the Leafs just weren't doing anything. But the trade people on Trade Center and all that sort of stuff were like, oh, most of the trades come in the last hour. I'm like, okay. And then,
sure.
Yeah, okay. And then still nothing for like the first half hour. Anyway, so around like 2:30 almost it came in, or maybe a little bit before that. And I thought it was a very fair trade. I don't think we gave or made our team weaker. What I was always concerned about is giving up roster players that play full time right now and making our team weaker. Like you get rid of a Nyes or somebody like that, it really screws with the team dynamic because that's a person that plays a lot and plays a lot of minutes and is really part of our foundation of that team and how we play each game. So when you mess with that a little bit, sometimes it screws things up. Like it'll be interesting to see how Dallas plays without Stankoven because that guy is a warrior and they got Rantanen, so we'll see what, but they also had to take away from their roster.
Well, Edmonton destroyed them the game where Rantanen started his first game.
So that's what I mean when you touch roster pieces and stuff. So I was happy that we didn't touch a roster piece. Of course, it's always tough saying goodbye to our boy Rubankin, forecheck, back check.
Oh yeah, he made himself such a fan favorite so freaking quick.
He was such a beauty from fighting the first game of the preseason and just doing everything that he did after that. We're going to miss him for sure. Leafs legend already.
Oh, yeah. But, if you look at it, that'd be then a first and he was a 5th round pick.
Yeah.
So it's a first and a 5th for Scott Lawton, 50% retained.
Yeah.
Salary.
And we're getting him another year on his contract next year. We have him next year. It makes our lineup through forwards, just like we said, a lot better. If you look at our lineup. Now it's very strong. It even makes our 4th line very strong.
Oh, yeah.
With the players, because you look at our 4th line, it's like some of those players on some teams could be 1st or 2nd liners.
Which one?
Well, I mean, they had Domi on it at one point.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
On the thing. So, Domi was on the first line, has been on second. But yeah, you look at Robertson and those other guys that are on it. They can also be on a 2nd or 3rd line easy on other teams.
Well, the one thing I don't like about our lineup right now is it feels like we're going back to they're fighting for a position because Yar and Kroc sat the other night. Mm-hmm. And then who else sat? Well, we had Lorentz, Kampf, and Robertson on the 4th line. And they were switching up Holmberg and Robertson, the 2nd and 4th line guys.
Mm-hmm.
And it just doesn't seem like they know exactly what they want to go into playoffs with.
Yeah, it's just tough with Holmberg on that 2nd line. If McMahon could slide up there for some reason and just stay and just feel at home. But Patches, where's he? Is he injured?
He's still injured.
Yeah, because you could have Patches there with JT and Nylander. That was a great line. And then...
Is that what Holmberg is? Just a placeholder for that, I wonder?
I think so, because that was a good line when it was going. The only thing is that line plays a lot of minutes, and I don't know if Patches can play that many minutes at his age, every game in and game out. So I don't know, but
I wouldn't mind.
It's a good situation to have though.
Yeah.
When we have all these players in reserve fighting for a spot that are also good players. Yarncroke, I think hopefully once he gets a couple games under his belt, we'll feel a little bit more comfortable out there. I mean, I think our team's better with him in the lineup playing to the way that he can play.
Yeah, I agree. But who comes out then?
Well, at least they got rid of Dewar, so that's one less decision you have to make. I thought they were going to trade Robertson or somebody like that in one of those trades just to, again, it wouldn't affect, I don't think it would affect our roster too much getting rid of like a Robertson or like one of those bottom guys. It would more affect us at getting a Nyes. So,
oh yeah, the first line left wing, nice.
yeah, so yeah, it would have helped that situation. But again, if you go in the playoffs and guys get hurt, which often happens,
Yeah.
you can slide an equally good player, if not better, in. So
What I didn't mind was Lorenz Kampf and Pacioretty on the fourth line.
Lorenz Camp.
And Pacioretty.
Yeah, I
Like
like that
I feel
too.
like that could work pretty well. Like Patches has changed his game up now. He's a bigger hitter,
Yeah.
and that gives that fourth line a little bit more scoring touch.
Yeah, and like you said, or even Steve's. I like Steve's on that line.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't make sense having Robertson there.
No, it doesn't fit their identity.
It doesn't fit their identity. That line has no identity. They're just a random bunch of misfits on that line if Robertson's there.
Yeah. So I think Lawton obviously slots up in the third line center.
Yeah.
And so it kind of tightens up the center a bunch, like strengthens it. You have Matthews, JT, Lawton, and Camp down the middle.
Yeah.
And I'm very okay with that.
Yeah.
And Scott, so some stats on Scotty. So Lawton, he's 31 years old. He got traded from Philly. 11 goals, 16 assists this year in 61 games. So that's 27 points in 61 games. That's not too bad. So that's one goal every 6 games, and about a half point player.
Mm-hmm.
But when he was in Philly, he was the top PKing forward. So he had the most ice time out of anyone, and he was killing the penalties. And their penalty kill is only like 2 or 3 behind ours in the league right now. So, and they have way worse goaltending. So I'm thinking this guy did a pretty good job in the penalty kill.
And D.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, his offense is not the greatest, but and he's a net crasher, which that third line desperately needs, which is nice. But his defense wasn't actually the greatest on 5-on-5. But again, that could be the team he was on, who he was playing with, and he actually wasn't even playing center a lot this year. He was on the wing. But the last 2 years before that, he was a bona fide center. So I don't know why they changed him up, because on that team, there's not a lot of great centers. So you think he'd be playing center. I don't know if they're just trying to get a young guy in to become a center eventually on that team. So I don't know. But yeah, so maybe on a better team, his defense is going to, get better, and he'll be, with that third line, I think he does shore up a bit, because Domi at center his defense was nothing. It was like, he was a black hole defensively.
Yeah.
So hopefully Lawton can at least shore up that a bit.
Yeah. And what's important, and you can't take this away, is the person he is. He's from Oakville, so he's a hometown boy coming in playing, and that's good because that was their team growing up, so there's passion there.
Oh yeah, like look at the Rents.
This guy was a fan favorite and team and player favorite for all the guys in Philly. They loved him, and you can tell by his demeanor, he's just a super chill dude, very cool, and doesn't very team oriented and cares about his teammates. So that's a good player you want coming in the locker room. No big ego there, just a really good guy with a good heart and wants to play with his teammates. So
apparently a really funny guy too.
Yeah.
Did you see the picture that went viral of the Last Supper?
Oh, I think I briefly saw it.
Yeah, so he took his trainers and the bag people. He took all of them out for dinner, and I guess he did like a Last Supper picture where they copied the Last Supper. Really funny.
Yeah, so a not well liked guy wouldn't have that sort of
rapport
following.
With those. Yeah.
So you're getting a good character guy coming in.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I'm optimistic about that. We'll talk about his first game later against Colorado, and what you thought. But we'll go on to the next trade. Leafs get the D Brandon Carlo from the Boston Bruins for our boy Fraser Minton and a first round pick next year, 2026. No conditions on that one, so not top 10 protected. And his salary is retained 15% of his 4.1 mil, so it brings it down to like 3.5 million, and we get him for another 2 years after this one. So what are your thoughts on that trade?
Again, we knew it was going to be something random out of left field that nobody was reporting, because that's just what the Leafs do. And that's when Shem was gone, and I'm like, who are they even going to pick up here? Is there even a defenseman out there? And, Trad Breliving just comes out of nowhere, and pulls that one out of a hat, that from a guy that we didn't even know was on the market
Yeah,
as
Boston
trade
kind
bait.
of yard sailed at the last minute out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere, Boston just said, "Screw it. Here, all our players, including our captain."
Yeah, Brad
So,
Marchand, Charlie Coyle,
cool. Mhm.
Carlo, and Brazeau, all in like a half hour.
Yeah, apparently though, no, Coyle was in the morning.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, so as soon as other teams caught wind that Coyle was out, they knew that Boston was selling. So that's all
Oh,
of a sudden GM started getting on the phone and being like, "Hey, what about this player? What about this player?" So I think that's why the trade people didn't really have it on their radar, because I think that was all a last minute, because they traded Coyle, kind of gave the signal that, okay, we're in a sell year, we're not building. Yeah, I think it's a great deal.
yeah.
It's exactly what we needed. We didn't give up too much. It sucks getting rid of Minton. Great young guy, a lot of potential there. So maybe hopefully that one doesn't come bite us in the ass. But I think Carlo, again, great character, very loved by his teammates. You saw Charlie McAvoy post saying the heart, like he was heartbroken, like a broken
Oh, yeah.
heart, with a picture of Carlo. So, and even by his interview, you can tell this guy is just relaxed, cool, excited for the new opportunity. Doesn't seem like too much of an ego either. So that's what you want. You want these guys coming in that are good people and will fit in with the dynamic of our team without taking over too much. And he's a big body and he just likes to stay at home defenseman. And we didn't need too much flash and dash. Treliving, we know, loves his big body defenseman, so that fills that void. He's a right-handed shot, which we need. We didn't really give up too much. Like, it sucks giving rid of a first, but again, these firsts, the way our team is these days, these firsts are going to be low picks. Like, they're going to be basically second round picks,
Yeah.
because we're going to be finishing top of the Atlantic and top of the Eastern and like top of the NHL. So at least in the top 8, I would say.
Oh, yeah. And like, not just that, what gives me confidence is if we can hit on a 5th round pick like Grabankin,
Yeah.
and then we can trade it for something big like that. And then we keep, let's say we kept the 2nd, 3rd, 4th round, and those are better picks than the 5th, obviously. But like,
Yeah.
we can easily hit on those just as well.
Yeah, and sometimes these 3rd, 4th, 5th round guys, they're late bloomers, late developers, and they don't have that big of an ego. They work hard to get to where they have, because they haven't just been given told they're the best hockey players from the get-go. So what you want a lot of the time too is you have your top level talent in Nylander, Nyes, Matthews, and Marner, even Tavares. You have these guys that are our top. Yeah, he's still very talented, right? So like, you have our top talent. We don't need to draft those type of players as much right now. What we need is to fill get our Zach Hymans, get our Michael Buntings, if we can get another Nyes, work hard kind of power forward kind of guys. Those are usually guys that you draft later anyway, because they're
Yeah.
filling a role, a grinder role. And the first couple rounds are usually the skilled players that are, flash and dash, don't go into corners, like get me in the slot and I'll snipe it. I don't mind right now where we are. We need Carlo, we need a lot, and we don't need the next.
Yeah, we don't need the future right now. It's right, it's
Yeah,
about this year, winning this year.
exactly. At least for the next 2-3 years, I think
Oh, yeah.
this team looks phenomenal. It's basically going to be based on the players that we have locked up. It's going to be a very similar identity for like a Brad Treliving defense
Oh, yeah.
first, big body defense style game. And
And
I'm
we
looking
still
forward to
have
it.
Cowan in the pipeline and Ben Danford, another big defenseman from the Oshawa Generals.
Yep.
So we still got 2 very good prospects coming up, and that's all you kind of need right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But let's have some stats about Brendan Carlo. So he has 64 games this year, 1 goal, 8 assists, 9 points. We're not getting him for
No.
that, obviously. But the size, he's 6'5",
Yeah.
220 pounds, 28 years old, right-handed, like you said. He's a top 4 D man, and we got him for $3.5 million for the next 2 years. Like, that's
Unbelievable.
beautiful.
So good.
So he was the top a PKer defenseman on the Boston Bruins since McAvoy, and Hampus Lindholm went down. And I think right now they want him with Morgan Riley on his right side, shore up that defensive defenseman, and Riley can run and gun himself, which I think is perfect. So it looks like they really wanted penalty killers. The Leafs really want that because in the playoffs, that's exactly what you need.
Yeah.
Like, I know there's not a lot of penalties called, but those are really big moments. And then these guys are the top on their teams, and we're bringing that over. So that's perfect. And as soon as they get used to the system and everything like that, they'll be right ready for playoffs, and they'll be able to kick ass. And I'm so excited.
Yeah, and we would have been happy getting a guy like Shen. You know what I'm saying? Like, we were happy with that. This guy is way better than Shen.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So it's a huge win for us, and it's tough to judge on that game. Your first game, you didn't even practice with the team. You don't even know these players. You've never played with them before, and those guys. And we slide in against maybe on paper the best team in the league right now.
Right after the trade deadline too.
Right up,
they were
good.
Like
that team was flying out there. And I thought we did pretty well keeping up with them. We don't have to go into that yet. But, once these players have time to adapt to our team and our systems and everything else and get used to their D partner in Riley and stuff like that, it'll be exciting. I hope it really works out well. And our team's definitely better after the trade deadline, and that's what you wanted. Yes. Filled the 2 holes that we needed. We just needed 2 holes.
We saw those all year too. I'm happy they filled those holes.
And for a while, it wasn't looking like he was going to do anything. And, and he did the exact 2 moves that needed to be done, no more. Because again, you don't want to give up too much at the trade deadline, and often the prices are all higher at the trade deadline. So it's better to make moves in the offseason, build your team in the offseason. But I thought Brad did a great job.
Oh, yeah. And not just that. Like, I love how they're locked up. Like, Lawton another year, Carlo another 2 years. Because
it's not rentals, man.
Yeah, and you're giving away first-round picks. At least it's not for a rental, and I love that.
And that's what's killed us.
And what I love, too, is the defense, none of them have to be re-signed in the offseason. So defense is done. Goaltending, done. Don't have to be re-signed. So you get to focus on Marner, Nyes, and JT, and that's it.
Yeah, and that's so important because if you have too many pieces that you need to sign and you get sidetracked with one Marner or something, then all of a sudden those fall by the wayside, and then you end up with weaknesses in those areas.
Yeah.
So it's a lot less stress, and it lets guys know this is the team you're in for not just this year, next year too. So let's start building this thing. Be like Crosby saying his first year in rookie season. Yeah, we're gonna win Stanley Cups here, guys. And they're in last place and stuff like that. Like, he just had a vision, right?
Had it on his vision board, I guess.
Yeah.
So, and then the last one, you kind of alluded to it already. Timmins and Dewar were traded for the Pens for a 5th-round pick, I think 2026. It was obviously just a cap dump.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised we got anything for it. So that's actually a good little deal right there. Dubas obviously loves Timmins because he loves his Greyhounds, man.
Greyhounds, dude. Greyhounds. I'm surprised he didn't sign Matt Murray too. Trade for him.
Throw him in the trade, dude.
Get Matt Murray in that trade.
But I don't know. I guess Dewar just a cap dump there too. And we had to give up the spots, roster spots for one, and also I think the money to fit Carlo in.
Yeah.
So nice little tidy work by Treliving because usually you have to give away a pick for that, something like that, to drop those people like that. So it's awesome getting an asset back. And then do you want to talk about the deals that didn't get done?
Sure.
So apparently Marner was asked to waive his no movement clause for a 1-for-1 swap for Rantanen. And Rantanen would obviously be a sign and trade. So when he'd come over, he would be here for 8 years.
$13 million deal.
Was that what it was for?
That's what he signed, yeah.
Oh,
that's what he signed at Dallas.
It was a 12-by-8 in Dallas.
Or 12-by-8, yeah, sorry.
So it would be a sign and trade to the Leafs, and Marner would go back to Carolina.
Yeah.
But he obviously didn't waive it. I wouldn't want to waive it either.
Carolina's been trying to get Marner for years now.
Have they?
Yeah.
And, he wouldn't want to sign there anyway. That's what I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know. Carolina just keeps making the same mistake of getting these players that don't want to sign there.
Yeah.
So.
And then, so the other one that was and then next they asked for Nyes as the start of a package for Rantanen. Leafs kibosh that. And then apparently the Leafs offered 2 firsts. So I guess that would be the 2026 and the 2027 first round picks.
Yeah.
And Minton and Cowan for Rantanen. and that was also shut down.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that's why the deals for Carlo and Lawton were so late in the day, because they were trying to hammer this through.
And the reason they shut the last one down apparently is because the Leafs would have been too strong in playoffs with Rantanen on that team, because you wouldn't have subtracted from the roster, and you would have added Rantanen, and they said they would have had a hard time on paper, like thinking they could beat that team if they ran into them in the playoffs, because they have to beat the Leafs in the playoffs to get to the Stanley Cup.
True, but I love how they think they're making it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Carolina. Yeah. They don't look good enough, I don't think.
No, this is not. And the thing is, too, is they always struggle in the playoffs because their team, they have a lot of smaller, faster players. And then in the playoffs, as we see with Marner, that space goes away.
Yeah, but hopefully he can change it around this year.
Yeah.
Because his contract's riding on it a little bit.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to bring that up because that was apparently big news. And what trade of those would you make? Would you make a trade for Rantanen?
No, I think Rantanen's a little overrated myself. I think he's a very good hockey player for sure, but the level and talent that Marner's at, I don't think they're on the same level.
Really?
I think Marner's way more of a game changer than Rantanen.
But Rantanen has the cup. He has 1.25 points per game in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So he comes in. He shows
with
up in the
Mac
playoffs
on his line.
Was he always on his line though?
For the most part, I think yes.
Yeah, I didn't watch enough of those games. I was just wondering because I know Nuke was Nichushkin was the other winger.
Yeah.
So I don't know how the lines actually fell off, but whatever. Still, that's pretty good points per game.
Yeah, it's pretty good, but again, I think Marner's dynamic ability to create space and play make is something I haven't seen from really that many players in the NHL today.
True, and he's top 10 in points right now, so he's doing pretty well.
Yeah, and you look at what he did during the Four Nations and things like that too, and that's in a tight game.
Yeah.
Playoff-like atmosphere.
Best players in the league.
Yeah.
True. Do you think he cracks 100 points this year?
Marner?
Yeah.
Keep asking this. I'm going to keep saying... Yeah, what did I say last time? No, because they're going to keep scratching him.
Oh, yeah. Do you know what he's on pace for?
He's on pace probably for like 103.
103.5. So still, there's a chance. There's a chance.
So you're saying there's a chance. Yeah. Well, you got to take 2 games out of that. Because they'll probably healthy bomb him for the last 2 games of the year.
I think it depends how close this Atlantic race is.
Yeah, that's true.
Leafs actually dropped out of first. They're 4 points behind Florida now for first in the Atlantic with a game in hand. So it's going to be right down to the wire.
Yeah.
And Tampa's tied with them for second too.
Yeah, and they also got better.
So
it's tight.
Tampa never seems to friggin' die, man.
Yeah.
So next, the Leafs finally give up a third period lead when going into the third leading to the fucking San Jose Sharks. Literally the second worst team in the league.
Yeah, now they've done it twice.
Yes, but so the first one was in a shootout against the San Jose. Mm-hmm. Makes them 24-0-1 when having a lead going into the third. Mm-hmm. And then 2 games later, they decide to lose to Colorado. And I'm pretty sure they were leading 4-2 going into the third. Or was it 4-3?
I think it was 4-3.
4-3. And they lose in regulation in that game. So they're 24-1-1 after taking the lead into the third. And why does this have to happen on the stretch to playoffs? Because this is the only time that matters to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the San Jose was a throwaway game that they didn't really take too seriously because it's San Jose. They're at home.
I think it was on a back-to-back too.
Yeah.
Travel.
Yeah, well, they came from Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And traveled and had a game in Toronto the next day. And the thing is, too, is, yeah, you have a last place team coming in. You're off a travel day. What's your motivation to get up for that game? You think that you could just, I don't know. I just don't think they were too up for that game.
Well, they came out very strong. They just looked gassed, man. Like, tired.
So again, this is like the least, 12th back-to-back of this year, like more than any other team. So I don't know. I give them a pass for that game. Like, again, like you said, it was more towards the third period, and that's when they gave up the lead because they were probably tired after playing the day before and playing the Friday before that. So like,
well, it
really
was
not
2-0 going into the third. So
yeah. So anyway, it is what it is. It's not like they lost the game in regulation, but they did come back and tie it. And I don't know. I don't put too much stress on that game. And then same with the Colorado game because you have two new players. One's on your top D pair line going against potentially one of the best lines in NHL.
And players.
And you have a brand new D partner.
Yeah.
And Riley's playing with brand new Carlo, and then Carlo's figuring out Riley. And meanwhile, you got guys like Max skating down on you, and like that line ripping around. So they're a high-powered offense team that scores lots of goals, and they just got better too. So, it was a close game. They kept it close.
Yeah, the score doesn't really reflect the because there's 2 empty net goals.
Yeah, so it is what it is. I don't.
Yeah,
I don't.
But
I'm
might as well talk
I'm not
about
sounding the alarm on any of this stuff, and I think they're still very
fan
good.
bases, which is wild.
Oh, it's crazy. Like you're 9-1 before that.
Yeah.
Like just relax. So, or 8-1 before that. So I don't know. I think you're playing Colorado, the best team in the league. So with the most high-powered offense, one of the most high-powered offenses. So they're going to score goals. It's going to be harder to keep that, especially when you have a brand new defenseman and third line forward. So I don't know. It is what it is.
He did look lost out there at the beginning.
Yeah,
I understand that. You're just showing up for a game. You don't know the
system
system at all.
You don't even know where that guy is going to be on the ice. Because like your trust with your defense partner, you know where they usually like to sit, where you can throw the puck back to them when you get into trouble and things like that. You don't know that with
no.
So anyway,
he'll find out. He's a good defenseman. He'll find how to play.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. I'm not sounding any panic buttons, alarms, and
Lawton's first game, his defense wasn't that good either.
Yeah, and again, like you're placed up against very good offensive team that is so fast, and
I just hope he finds the chemistry with the team because I know it's always hard. Like that's always the biggest thing I think when it comes to playing.
Thing. At trade deadline, midway through the year, hardest thing.
Because like chemistry is not just playing with people for a long time; it's actually like you have to find that fit, right?
And developing friendships, because you got to be able to go through a wall for your fellow player.
Oh yeah,
but like in a real way, not just he's my teammate kind of way. It's like no, like I actually love that guy. yeah, like I actually love that guy or whatever, right? So
that kind of sucks, but not the best week for the Leafs this week. Because again, I lost to Vegas too, 5-2. They looked nowhere close to as good as that team. Vegas, I think, destroyed them.
I think that was a Vegas flu situation.
I hope so. Because they have been on that run. They're like, we're finally going to Vegas.
Well, that's what I mean. They just went 8-1
and won because of the San Jose game. Yeah.
You're going on a road trip. It's that point in the season where, okay, we can have some fun now, but after this, we got to just tighten up and go hard until the playoffs. So it's like that one last trip where let's loosen up a little bit, and I think that's what happened.
Hopefully they can turn it around tonight against Utah. Yeah, actually, Utah's not a they're a pretty good team too. So
you got Sergachev and a lot of Cooley and those guys. Like they're
Clayton Keller.
They're not. Yeah, it's not any Arizona team that used to be able to just go in and do whatever. Like they're good.
No. What makes me mad is Nyes and Matthews can't go play in Arizona anymore.
That makes you mad?
That makes me mad. I like when they get to go back to their hometown.
It makes me relieved because I'm not going to lose Matthews or Nyes now to free agency to go sign at their hometown.
They would never sign in that dump.
Well, if they figured out their shit eventually, they might.
Yeah, that's like saying Connor McDavid is going to come here when his contract's up from Edmonton.
But he is.
This is what I mean. Edmonton shouldn't be worried at all about this.
They should be.
Why?
Man, there's a good chance. We got to keep the money. That's why we got to watch the way how much we sign Marner for. We got to keep the money open here for McDavid. He's coming in, man.
Yeah, he's coming. He's coming.
He's coming.
So I just want to go through the core four this week because they've actually played very well offensively. So JT, 3 goals, 2 assists, 5 points this week. Marner, 3 goals, 1 assist for 4 points. Matthews, a goal and 4 assists for 5. And Nylander, 4 assists. So they were actually bringing it offensively this week, which I love to see. But what bugs me is how bad their defensive game has been.
Yeah.
Because let me just go through plus minus. So I just told you all the points they had. Let's go through the plus minus. So JT, -3. Marner, -1. Not too bad. But still, like when you have 3 goals and an assist. Matthews, -2. And Nylander, -4. So, like, their offense is there. Defense, I feel like with Tanev missing, he seemed to be like the defensive linchpin that held the team together defensively.
It's tough without Tanev there.
Man.
It's like when McCabe left, he just didn't do well. So I guess we can't lose Tanev or McCabe.
But we can lose one of the core 4 guys and be fine. But as soon as one of these 2 defensemen go down,
doesn't affect our record at all if one of the core 4 guys.
No, we actually get better.
2 of them can go down, and all of a sudden you see a more complete game by the Leafs.
Yeah. So actually, we might as well go into that too, because Tanev being hurt, I think it does, like you were saying, hurts the team way more than any core 4 player. So he's been out for 5 games. The Leafs, 6 games. The Leafs have been 2-3-1 without him, and the goals against average 4.8.
Yeah, and look at our goalies. Since he's been down, the goaltending hasn't been as good.
No, man.
So it's like even affecting the goalies.
They're just so sad without him.
Yeah, I don't know. The core 4 is snapping the puck around though on the power play, which is really nice to see. Good. But again, we can never have it all, you know. Can't have our cake and eat it too.
No.
It seems.
But I just want to give them a shout out for like their offensive play because I noticed they've been the ones putting the puck in the net.
Yeah.
So it's nice because the depth scoring is gonna like
dry out.
Yeah,
it's gonna be streaky.
Ebb and flow throughout the season. So it's nice that they actually do pick it up when they need to. They just can't seem to outscore the problems right now.
Yeah.
Which is a problem.
I think things are going to turn around. I think that was just a week that we need to get out of our system.
Oh, we've had weeks like this before too.
Just like my week. You know? It was crazy.
Maybe they noticed you were low and they wanted to be low with you, Jack.
You know what? Maybe whatever's happening in my life is the same that happens with the Leafs. If I'm good, easy breezy, beautiful cover girl, so are the Leafs. But if I'm not, and my life's stressful, maybe the Leafs are life stress. Because like last week, crazy for me. What was the Leafs week like? Crazy. So basically whatever, maybe I'm like the Leafs voodoo doll. And if things are happening to me.
Whatever happens to you happens to them?
Maybe. We'll have to tell. We'll have to start monitoring this trend.
And Jack, you are beautiful.
Thanks.
You said that in there. I just want to make sure you know, man.
Thanks, dude.
So actually, I'm just going to go to my player of the week now because I think it's time for that.
It's time.
Player of the week. Anyways, Matthew Nyes is my player of the week, man. What I loved is he fought Whitehead.
White Cloud.
What the fuck is with me and names this week, man? He fought White Cloud in Vegas right off the face-off. I think he dummied him. I don't think White Cloud knew he was left-handed.
No.
And he got some 3 or 4 good shots in right away.
Right at the bat, and that was
pumped me up so much, man. I fucking love that. Standing up for yourself.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be in that dressing room. I bet he was like, guys, don't worry about White Cloud. He's all mine.
Opening face off.
Yeah. That's put me out, coach. I'm fucking fighting that guy.
I'm taking care of my own mess. Love that.
Yeah. Last 5 games, he's been a point per game player. And for me, I think he should be in that 60 to 80 range point per game, like right now, or points per season area. And I think he's getting to that right at the perfect time, rising up at the end of the season here. And with that, into the playoffs, obviously, and on that first line. And I think he can only keep going up from here. And that's what I'm hoping for.
And he is. He just keeps getting better. Like his net front presence, finding pucks, tipping, all that sort of stuff. He's really learning how to become his own role player. That is so valuable to our team.
Yes, and with younger players like rookies, and he's in a sophomore year, I think, it's the consistency is the biggest problem. And like I said, point per game, last 5 games, I think the consistency is finally starting to come through, which is nice.
Yeah.
So that is my player of the week.
And he has up potential too. That shot of his is pretty good.
It's getting better.
It's getting better. So, look at the buzzer beater the other week.
Oh,
Once he starts being able to snipe those, maybe Matthews helping him with a shot, who knows? But once he figures that shot out too, that would be another weapon of his.
Yeah, and he can also tip in front very well. Like I know you said net front presence.
Yeah, he's becoming more dynamic for sure. I'm going to give a toss-up between JT and Marner because, JT had the one big game where he kept scoring, and then Marner against Colorado kept scoring. I thought Marner against Colorado had a great game. He was flying around, knew he was out there every time he was out there. His puck touches, creating space, doing what Marner does best against, again, one of the best teams on paper, if not the best team in the league right now. So for him to do that against Colorado in a game like that shows that this guy is just playing at a very high level right now, and it's awesome to see. So hopefully he just keeps it going.
We'll give him the goal of the week, both of us. We're going to combine our goal of the week this week because this week hasn't been the greatest for goals.
He had 2 against Colorado, so I'll just take the one, you take the other.
But the one was his 20th goal of the year, and he hits that mark again. And he's just a great fucking player who keeps putting up these numbers, and that just adds to his accolades of everything. But the play itself, my boy Nyes, able to strip the puck off the Colorado defenseman, turn towards the boards, looks back, finds Marner flying in, and I think they must have gotten the report of the goalie report because every goal scored that night, blocker side on that goalie.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Both Marner's goals are carbon copies of each other, same spot on the goalie as well, and same area.
He read some of those shots too because that one shot that he did on that goal, I literally thought he was Matthews until he turned around. I was like, oh shoot, that was Marner that one teed that.
Yeah, and then JT's both of his goals blocker side.
Yeah, so JT was sniping too.
Oh yeah. So when we meet them in the Stanley Cup Finals,
the one he didn't even look at Holmberg.
Oh
Holmberg
yeah, he
was wide open. He just sniped.
So what do you think of them bringing off Holmberg off that second line for part of that game?
I don't know. It's tough because we don't have a guy that said this is my spot and I deserve to be here. So until then, Holmberg is kind of that guy because the other line's dynamics. Well, before Lawton came in, we had Domi, McMahon, and Robertson playing together, and we didn't want to touch that line because that line was going pretty good. And then I liked our fourth line too. It was Camp, Florence, and whoever else wanted to slot in there, Dewar or whoever. So they didn't want to touch those other 3 and 4th lines. So it was oh, well, Holmberg's not doing bad enough that you'd take him off there, but he definitely wasn't, I didn't think, contributing too much.
So what do you think of this? McMahon moved up to the second line, left wing. Mm-hmm. Third line, Domi, Lawton, Yarncroke.
Yeah, and that's what, now that Lawton is there, it changes things. So I would like to see McMahon take his deserved spot on that second line. The guy's been playing so well lately. Give him more minutes. The guy's a beast on forechecks. That's what you need. So
and as we all know, if he scores in an away game, we're winning the game.
And plus, you got to think him and Tavares are hounds on pucks, forechecking like that, getting the puck out to Nylander. Being McMahon, Tavares both don't mind going in front of the net, so being that guy, that disruption person in front of the net, I think it could work out well. I hope just give him a good little stint on that line rather than just giving him one game like we usually do.
Yeah.
And I would love that. I like our lines that way.
And then throw patches on that fourth line with Lorentz and Camp. I think we have a complete 4 lines right there.
What was your third line? Domi,
Lawton, and Yarncroke.
Yarncroke. And then Holmberg just gets healthy scratched?
Oh, yeah, I'm done with him. I've been done with him all year. Really, he's my whipping boy this year. I'm done with him.
I don't mind him on the fourth line.
Yeah, I don't mind him on the fourth line either, but he's a black hole of offense.
Yeah. So that's why I don't mind him on the fourth line.
But if we have Lorenz, Camp, and Pacioretty, at least we have a little scoring ability there on that line.
Well, I like that because he does well when you scratch him and then bring him back in. And you could just Yeah. Remember that game that he came back against New Jersey? The guy was flying. I was like, who is this guy? So you could, and Patches can't probably play every game.
No.
So just all the games that Patches, just have him and Holmberg interchange.
But the problem
keep Lorenz in camp.
Yeah, the problem with that is Robertson's nowhere in that lineup. So what do we do about that? That's why I think there could have been. I don't even know if we need to make more trades or needed to trade him specifically, but you have two guys.
That's the thing too, and there's a great chance that Robertson does not re-sign with the Leafs this summer.
No, not if he's going to be getting healthy scratched.
And we could have traded him and got some of those draft picks even.
Yeah, something. But a fourth. I don't think he's worth much.
Yeah, but at least it's something.
Yeah, true.
You know what I'm saying? Because he's going to walk at the end of this for nothing.
Well, he's a restricted free agent. He can't.
And is he?
Yeah. He's only 23.
Yeah, but I thought he was done his contract.
He's done his contract, but he's still a restricted free agent.
No. So they still have to trade his rights, but his rights won't be worth that much.
Well, yeah, probably worth as much as he is.
So, I'm just saying we could have got something from him, and that would have solved all our problems. But I don't think they trust Yarncroke yet. That's why.
No, I know. I think hopefully he gets into the game tonight, so they can see more of him.
Yeah.
But I guess that remains to be seen yet. So
it's we might as well keep the depth, and then that way we're not in this shooting ourselves in the foot by trading away a piece, and then the other one's not quite ready.
Yeah.
Because then we'd have a gaping hole, and
like you said, it's good to have the depth.
It's good to have the depth.
Yeah. A couple more things I want to talk about. One is outside the Leafs. I just saw this an hour ago. I wanted to talk about Aaron Ekblad of the Florida Panthers got suspended for 20 games for being on PEDs, performance-enhancing drugs. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
When?
I just saw it today, an hour ago.
No.
Yeah.
That changes a lot of things. He's one of their top defensemen.
I know, but they're still allowing him to play in the playoffs, even if it doesn't count towards the games.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That makes no sense. Where's the punishment?
He got 20 games, season games.
What? But you shouldn't be.
That goes right to playoffs for them to start. They have 20 games left in the season.
Oh, true. Okay. Yeah, I guess that would have been pretty harsh. But still, what PEDs was that guy using?
The quote was, he said, I guess I was getting over an injury, and I guess whatever I was taking to help heal had PEDs in it, and I didn't check with the staff first about what was in it.
Oh, wow. You have to be so careful with that stuff.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you go outside your own team for help, and then not letting your team in on what you're doing for the recovery process.
So he's gone for 20 games. They had Tkachuk's out for the rest of the season.
It's going to be tough for them to keep up with the Leafs.
I hope so.
I'm hoping, because dude, those are major players. That's a first overall pick way back in the day.
They have a lot of first overall picks on their team.
Yeah.
Or not first overall picks, top 5 draft picks on their team.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to mention that because I thought that was insane.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's.
And I want to get your live reaction, Jack, on what happened.
You got it. Oh.
Clip that. Clip it. So last thing I want to talk about. So with Carlo coming in, what our defense is going to shake out to be, because obviously it's going to be McCabe, Tanev up front, Riley with Carlo is the plan. And so an OEL with either Benoit or Myers. Mm-hmm. And I just wanted to see what your thoughts were on which one you would rather have in the lineup.
Benoit.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Are you going to give any reasons or just... Is that it?
I like Benoit.
He's cool.
He's cool and he hits. Um, I don't know. I like Benoit. I think if you give him a steady OEL, he fits better. I don't know. Meyer hasn't done anything for me yet as far as like
To stay in the
wowed
lineup,
me,
yeah.
or I don't know. Like I think he's good enough, but he doesn't have any game changing things or whatever. So I don't know. Only time will tell. I'd have to get a better look of what the dynamic is between the two with OEL, because it's all about how they play off each other.
Very true. Because McCabe and Benoit is one of our best pairs too. Yeah, last
But I
year.
don't mind having Meyer and Benoit as our 6th and 7th guys, because I like them both. I think they're very good for that 6th and 7th spot. And I
Agreed.
think there's not one that's like crazy better than the other. So if one isn't doing well, you can sub them out. I would be hard pressed if we had a Lilligren in instead of a Meyer.
Like you'd rather Myers than a Littlegreen, is that what you're saying?
Yes, I'd be pretty mad if like Lilligren was our other option.
Fair.
Because I think Benoit and Myers play a very similar game. They're both like hitting, and that's
a little more offense for Myers, I think.
Yeah, for sure. He likes to shoot it more, which is good, and you might need that in the playoffs. You might need a guy that just throws a puck to the net and just randomly hits a skate or gets tipped.
So if they're interchangeable, maybe that's the good way to go.
Yeah, it might be the way to go. But again, you might want to hit, or I don't know. But
yeah, for me, I think it's Benoit. I agree with you. I love him. I love watching him play. He can hit. Just the mental mistakes are still there a little bit. I just hope he can clean that shit up. But
I think with a good D partner, he might be a little bit more relaxed because he has an outlet and knows where like OEL will be. Whereas right now, if you're playing with Meyer or somebody, like they're both pretty young and new and like don't have as many NHL games under their belt. So that anxiousness and calmness with the puck in those situations, you end up just wanting to like ring it off the boards really fast instead of holding on to it that split second, or that makes a difference or opens up a passing lane or things like that. Just having confidence to be settled down with it a little bit. But what I like about both of them is they're both hard-nosed players and they're not soft.
Yeah, that's what I do like about our defense. They're mostly like pretty tough players.
Yeah.
And even OEL has some bite to him. It's awesome to see. So with that though, our shortest D-man now is 6'1", which is Morgan Riley.
It's tough. It's tough to play against that.
I know. That's some big dudes. Because I think Myers is also 6'5".
Yeah, he's a big boy.
Yeah, and Benoit is 6'3", I think. 6'3", 6'2", 6'3".
Yeah.
So we have some big guys in the back end.
Yeah.
And then I think they'll be fine in playoffs because that's when that shit comes out and you want a big decor that's not pushed around.
I'm excited to see when Tanev comes back what our final product looks like.
Oh yeah. And Yarn Croak is on full force.
Yeah, because this is a better team with those traded players in the lineup, and I'm excited to see what.
On paper, it's a really good team.
It's a great team.
Yeah,
and I'm super excited and ready to get hurt again.
So, I guess we'll end on that note as we are excited for the future of this team going into the playoffs. And we will probably end up crying. Who knows?
We'll cry together.
Or we're going to be in the parade at the Stanley in Toronto as the Stanley Cup goes down. I'm guessing Yonge Street,
Lakeshore usually.
Down Lakeshore Road, and I'll be the one holding the cup. I'll somehow get up there and hold that fucking cup.
I don't even think it's a road. I think it's Lakeshore Avenue.
But Jack, you're ruining my moment here, buddy.
I don't know.
Stop it, man.
It's what I do, man. It's what I do.
It's what I'm good at.
It's what I'm good at. It is.
All right. Well, if you lasted this long, thanks for listening. Holy fuck. I am doing bad today. If you lasted this long, thank you for listening to us talk about this random shit for an hour and me messing up names left and right. But for the week ahead, I want you to play hard and have fun, and hopefully the Leafs do the same.
And Keep Trad reliving out there, okay?
My boy Trad.